Okay, one easy way to know that your cab bushings are bad on any F250, 350 is you match this line up with the bed, and it should be here. Put this line here. See how that's below? When we put the bushings in, this line and this line should match. So we're about an inch too low here. That should come up like that. This is a 2013 Super Cab F250. I picked this up at an auction, believe it or not. First truck I've ever bought at an auction, and it was a local municipality truck, and it had under 100,000 miles on it, and it was a little beat up, but mechanically it looked to be in good shape. Okay, let's take a look at what we're doing here. This is a semi-normal cab mount bushing, and this is compressed on top of the frame here, and then the bottom piece comes in here and just insulates the cab from the frame vibrations. Now here's a bad one in the back that was making a lot of noise, and you can see here that there's just no rubber or insulation showing. It's metal. The metal bell is sitting on the frame, and so that's squeaking and making a lot of noise. So when you hear that noise back in the back of your cab when you go over a bump, that's generally what this is. And this bottom one's not so bad, but the top one's destroyed basically. Get close up there. You have to be careful because there's a cage nut on top, and if you put any kind of a air tool on that or put too much torque on it, you can round that cage nut. This is the cage nut, what it looks like on top. And as you see, there's some thin metal holding that in place. And if you hit that with a torque wrench, you're going to spin that nut. And once that happens, the only way to get this nut off is from the top, which is a lot more difficult. So you want to be careful with that. Also, these are installed with some blue thread locker. So in order to get these off, you have to apply some heat to melt that thread locker that's going to be on these threads. But again, this is your culprit here. What you don't want to spin out is this, and these are on the top of each of the bushings. So it's just some thin metal, as you can see, holding that in. So torque wrench will definitely flop that around like that, and once it spins, you're gone. So once these are separated, these are two pieces like that. This would be top, this would be bottom. And one thing about the Dorman that I really liked is it comes with a replacement bolt and a replacement nut. In case you do spin these, you've got a good one you can put back in. So that seemed to be a good deal. And actually, I got these on Amazon. I'll post a link where you can get those. So we'll give it a shot. I'm using the Dorman replacement bushings, not the Ford replacement bushings. I've heard these are pretty good and is close to stock, but not stock OEM with the mystery foam material that Ford uses. So we'll see how these work out. Alright, we'll start off by heating this nut up. The bolts. We'll heat the bolt up and help loosen that Loctite, that blue Loctite that's in there. Give it about 30 to 60 seconds. Bought this little thing at Harbor Freight for 15 bucks. Not a bad deal, but it doesn't come with butane, so pick you up a can of butane. That should be pretty hot right now. Alright, take a 15 millimeter socket. Just try some constant pressure. breaker. Try a little more heat. That is a booger bear. Ah. Just a little at a time. Whew. I haven't touched it, but I imagine that nut is hot. I'm going to loosen all these up first. Make sure we can get them. All right, so here I'm just gently working this bolt out. Trying not to strip it. See that slack in there? That's the cage nut. Gently. Just taking my time. You don't want to have to go in through the top. That's a pain in the ass. Excuse my French. So what I did was I went around and loosened all of these on both sides. You have a little flex. And I'm going to take one side off. Replace them. And then do the other side. Make sure you can get the bolts undone, broken, and smoothly extractable before you go replacing anything. And again, I'm basing all this on my education that I received from YouTube, so to those folks that took the time to make a video and show how they did it, I appreciate that, and hence I'm trying to pay it back by just doing the same. Alright, so here we should be able to get this out like this, and again we're going to save that cage nut. Interesting, they put the Loctite up here on that one and down here on the other. And here we're going to have to pry this off. Oh, that came off pretty easy. Oh, that's nice, yeah. Way to go, FOMOCO. Way to go. Okay, well, that's all that's left. That bushing, man, I don't know. Okay, so we got that one off. We're gonna get the other one more off, and then we're gonna lift this whole cab up on this side and take these out. So I'm trying to jack what I consider the middle of the cab. Get the jack under it, and you got to be careful not to go up more than a couple inches, or you'll damage some of the connections. So be gentle on the lifting of the cab, but you just want it high enough where you can slip in the new bushing. So I'm going to do the front radiator first. So I'm going to jack up the front of the cab here on this corner, and as you can see in there, I'm going to raise it up. It's just going to come up a little bit. All right, let's see if I can get that out of there. Not quite. That's got a little bit left to go. Man. All righty. Whew. That's the right one. All right. All right. like that. Perfect. Okay. Let's just make sure we can get this. Looks to be caught on the nut, so I'm going to lower that down. Oop. Okay. Get that little hand tight there. I did not put a new cage nut on it. I just used the old one since it hadn't stripped. All 6 bushings on. Tighten up. It is a physical workout, so take a day off your upper body. You're gonna get it in. I only had one that gave me any grief, and it just took. I just tried to be patient with it, with the ratchet, and slowly just get it out, not try to force it. I was able to get all the bolts out. I replaced them with the new bolts and the Dorman bushings. And now I'm going to need to go torque these down. I've heard 76 foot-pounds. I've heard 80 foot-pounds. I think 75 will be within a reasonable range of tolerance. Okay, torqued them all down, and this is what they look like installed. A little bit more padding between the frame and the cab there. There's the middle. There's the rear. All tight. Alrighty then. Well, that took me 3 hours to install 6 cab bushings. And basically, I just used a ratchet. I used a 1/2 inch pry bar, torque wrench, some WD-40, butane torch, a little Loctite. I only had to use the pry bar once, and I probably could have got it off without it. I only used one floor jack, and I just jacked each one up at a time. I didn't try to jack it all one side up. I just jacked close as I could to each bushing, and that seemed to work fine without getting me too much. And now, if you look down the body line, you see that the cab and the bed are even, which is supposed to be. There we go. See? Alrighty. Now, so if you hear a big clanking in the back or under your cab, this could be the culprit right here, which is basically just a completely rotted away bushing with your metal bell riding directly on top of your frame. And it makes a little noise, for sure, but nothing you can't do in your garage. So good luck. I hope this helps somebody. I'm out.